Fauci's lying. You know 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 Fauci's lying. Down with the CDC. Down with the CDC.
Down with the CDC. This is the culminate. I won't say culmination. This is the continuation of Ballgate, the story that no one could have imagined had legs past the 8 hours when it broke. Those are Nicki Minaj fans protesting outside of the CDC headquarters in Atlanta against the COVID-19 vaccine. Of course, if you're just getting up to speed, if you were hoping to ignore this story, sorry, we're gonna talk about it. Because Nicki Minaj on Sunday tweeted to her 22.5 million followers, "My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married and now the girl called off the wedding, so just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied." Okay, so just putting her cousin's friend's testicles on blast. Since all this happened, Minaj's claims have been dismissed by numerous medical professionals and political leaders. I do have to show you this video because it's kind of one of the funnier things I've seen. This is the health minister of Trinidad speaking out about the investigation they inevitably had to run after this tweet and in all the backlash.
Claims are being made. One of the reasons we could not respond yesterday in real time to Ms. Minaj is that we had to check and make sure that what she was claiming was either true or false. And unfortunately, we wasted so much time yesterday running down this false claim. It is, as far as we know, at this point in time, there has been no such reported either side effect or adverse event. And what was sad about this is that it wasted our time yesterday trying to track down, because we take all these claims seriously, whether it's on social media or mainstream media. As we stand now, there is absolutely no reported such side effect or adverse event of testicular swelling in Trinidad, or I dare say, Dr. Hines, anywhere else? None that we know of anywhere else in the world. So that's a claim.
I love how the health minister of Trinidad maybe had to go to this cousin's friend's house and check in on his balls. That's just very funny to me and ridiculous. But obviously, it's not funny. It's insane. And Nicki Minaj, I just want to last thing. Nicki Minaj claims that she was invited to the White House. She tweeted, "The White House invited me. And I think it's a step in the right direction. Yes, I'm going and I'll be dressed all in pink like Legally Blonde so they'll know I mean business. And I'll have questions on behalf of the people who have been made fun of for simply being human." I don't really know what that means. The White House then said, no, they didn't invite Nicki Minaj there to visit the White House. But as they have with others, they offered a call with Nicki Minaj to basically say, "Hey, do you have questions about the vaccine? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the safety and the effectiveness of it." But of course, that didn't stop the barbs, as they say, the Nicki Minaj fans from going out and protesting outside the CDC. When will this be over, Nina Turner?
Now, I hope.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate, and look, I'm not gonna pour on Nicki Minaj. I mean, she said it. I will say that all of us bear a responsibility for the type of information that we put out, and especially if you have a huge following. So I get that. Also, it is important that people know they should get medical advice from medical professionals, medical doctors. We know that we need to reach herd immunity in the United States of America. Hell, we need to reach herd immunity in the world, because Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote about what affects one directly affects us all indirectly is really real when it comes to this pandemic. And also, let me throw in climate chaos. I want to say to folks, get the vaccine. you got to go and get the vaccine. It is irresponsible not to do so. Now, it's not irresponsible to question. It's not irresponsible to talk to a medical professional and get understanding. I think that's fine. But if you don't have a medical understanding, going out there and linking, whether it's balls and testicles or any other body part to the vaccine, is absolutely irresponsible. So I'm not, she put it out there. A lot of folks are judging that. I get it. Ultimately, anybody and all people should see their doctor and talk to their doctors or nurses about the vaccine. We get a lot of vaccinations in this country. It's mandatory, at least when I was in school. My mama couldn't send me to the public school without that vaccination. Several of vaccinations, as a matter of fact. So the fact that people are allowing some of these conspiracy theories to drive them, and if you get the vaccine, the greater likelihood, more people who don't have the vaccine are dying and being hospitalized. That doesn't mean that if you get it, you won't, but you are less likely to do so. So let the doctors handle this. This is really unfortunate that it has come to this, and also that the Minister of Health in Trinidad had to take their precious time to answer this.
Yeah, so guys, this is unfortunately the power of media. It could be used for good, but oftentimes this winds up being something that does not help. So what she says that if we all let it go at the same time, it would have reached some of her followers, but it probably would have been okay. But now that we're talking about it for a week straight, I guarantee you there is some percentage of the population who now thinks, well, it might lead to enlarged testicles, and it's gonna give them some hesitancy. Because they only hear, a lot of folks just see the headlines, or they only tangentially hear a story and they don't dive into all the details. So, look, this story obviously has legs, if you will, because it's funny, right? We all get it, right? So, the government of Trinidad is spending all week tracking down swollen balls, right? Don't pretend that it's not funny in that sense, and that's why it attracted a lot of attention. But now all the grifters are in too. So these guys who were protesting in front of the CDC called Black Hammer, I don't know that they're Nicki Minaj fans at all. So they're like, oh yeah, we're Barbs. Are you? Because in your promotional material, they printed out Babbers versus the CDC. Pretty sure it's not Babbers. So, and these guys are a group that's trying to get attention in 1,000 different ways. And if they were actually anti-colonial as they claim, great, we're anti-colonial. That's interesting. And if they were a far left group, even further left than us, no problem, we'd have them on, we'd talk about it. But now they're glomming onto like right-wing stuff and conspiracy theories. And as soon as people are paying attention because of Nicki Minaj, all of a sudden they're pretending to be her fans. So every grifter in the world has now attached themselves to these enlarged balls. And every time that all of them talk about it, they convince another percentage of the population to not get the vaccine. And I'll add one last danger to this. Because now, as Nina pointed out, we've been saying on the show, your kids have to get vaccines for polio, chickenpox, et cetera, to go to school. I had an interview in the conversation with some conservatives earlier in the week. And when I told them that, the woman in the interview flipped out and said, no way. So now this is probably gonna lead to a resurgence of chickenpox, polio, and those other diseases, because lunatic right-wingers are gonna be like, oh, we are getting those vaccines, I don't want those either. Oh, for Christ's sake, man. That's the damage that's done by right-wing propaganda.
And a lot of medications, can I just throw that out? A lot of medications, vaccines or not, a lot of medications have side effects. This foolery that folks are acting like this is the first time that there's been requisite side effects. Some side effects, I don't know about the ball side effects, but you can take an aspirin, you can get the flu shot, that we've been taming the flu for a very long time. Viruses exist. They exist like humanity exists. They were here before we got here. They're gonna be here even after we are gone. The job is try to tame these viruses so that we can live in some type of stasis. So side effects exist. Blood pressure medicine, any kind of medication that you take may or may not have a certain side effect to a certain group of people, period. I don't know why we acting brand new on this. And this is dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Rose McGowan jumped in. I don't need to go into what she said, but I think Cenk is absolutely right that like now the grifters have come out. And I connect this obviously to the politics of Medicare for all, and Nina Turner, to your run, right? And to the fact that if we had Medicare for all, and if we didn't, if it wasn't so easy to convince people that healthcare professionals are the enemy, or that somehow the CDC is the enemy, right? That if we actually trusted our healthcare professionals, if we could easily visit a doctor, if we had a community doctor available to us, then wow, it'd be so much harder to convince people of ridiculous conspiracy theories about pharmaceuticals, right? Or vaccines, right? Obviously, big pharma is bad. If we broke up big pharma, how much more trust would there be in these life-saving, whether it's medication that could suddenly be affordable or vaccines that are free and saving lives?
There are a lot of great ways to watch the Young Turks, but is there a best way? Of course, the best way is to watch live. Tune in weekdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. You get our uncensored, unapologetic version of the news that you won't get anywhere else. Watch us live.